Ooh,
Am I loud to you? Is that
that's
okay?
fine.
That's fine. Is that fine in chat? Claire's okay. Claire's really loud, but I'm really soft. So okay, Claire, can you speak?
Hello.
Okay,
Testing. Testing. One, two, three.
okay, okay. Turn Claire down. I'm good. Claire down. Is that good? Perfect. Okay. All right. 10 out of 10. All right. So let's get this shit on the road. All right. So I am Nikayuga. I am a captain. I've been here since season 0. I wasn't a captain then, but I've been a captain all seasons besides this one. Playoffs all seasons. I was in the finals in the first season. This is for all the new players if they happen to be watching. So I am familiar with the league, how it works, and with most of the veteran players. I would say I'm the best captain, so I'm sorry for all you players who won't get to experience me this season. I feel like I'm doing you a great disservice. But besides that, today we have Claire with us. So, Claire, if you wanted to speak about your role in LD2L at all.
Sure. I played season 0 despite being quite a bit above the cap because Greg needed people. And after that, I've just kind of stuck around, helped Greg and Bubbles out a bit with some of the admin stuff without actually being an admin. That's about it. I watch the in houses, look for Smurfs.
Yeah, so if you're a Smurf, don't get on this guy's bad side or he'll get kicked out. So, all right. So obviously tomorrow is the big day. It's draft day for season 3, aka season 4, if you count season 0. So today, the main thing about today is we're going to be talking about the people who are going to be good in the drafts, all the captains and things like that. Hopefully RG can join back here in a little bit and give his input because I know he is excited. But generally, we're going to be doing this once a week, probably mostly either on Sundays after the games or Saturdays before. We're not too sure yet, but I'm liking this time. So, um, in so we're going to start off with the captain. So there's going to be 12 captains this season, which is a bit more than we're used to, and a bit more than I'm used to because the first 2 seasons uh, has been a lot. So we have Red Lego Guy 4, Bubbles, one of the admins actually, Kyrix, and Owen Hollywood are 2 new players who I'm not too familiar with, so I'll try to get my best input on them. Saris, Chaco, Luth, Cryptic, Mitterchen, Royce, and Mouse Hero, aka Young Mouse. So our plan is generally to Claire. Are you in the Google Drive by any chance?
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna try to do different votes on different captains and try to explain where we think they're gonna be at this season, our predictions before the draft. So let's start off with obviously the first pick, the lowest MMR of all the captains, Red Lego Guy 4. So I do know a little bit about him. I believe he was on Krug's team last season and did decently well. Obviously being the lowest MMR of. Oh, and it was in season 0. Okay, I did not know that. Well, I don't remember which team he was on, but I wasn't too into the league then. But so we have Red Lego Guy 4, who being the lowest MMR, he's obviously going to be probably the biggest, I guess, burden on him to prove that he belongs with the captains, that he belongs with, a lot of the higher MMR players, and it's going to be a bit harder for him to lead the team if he picks higher MMR players, being as in, not as much experience, not as much game knowledge. Personally, I think with what I feel like he's going to pick, I think I'm going to give his team a 5 out of 10 uh, before the season, just because I don't know. I think with his low MMR and his first time being a captain, a little bit inexperience, I don't think it's gonna go super well. So we'll see how that goes. But Claire, do you have any thoughts about that?
I think it's going to be a lot in what he does with his player draft. Being the lowest MMR, it's not great, but it does put him in a position to be first pick or almost first pick for at least the first 2 to 3 rounds. And if he ends up picking the best available player every time, I think he could have a pretty good team. But I don't know. I've had some rumors that have me concerned about how his team is going to end up looking.
And that's what I'm kind of going off to, the rumors. Like with at least his first pick, if the rumor is true, then I'm not too sure. We won't dive in because we don't want to affect the draft too much, with at least with rumors. But if it is true, then we'll see how that goes with the team. Um, I think I'm trying to think between. Oh, is that RG's back? We have
What's up?
RG.
What's up?
Um, hey RG, if you want to keep an eye on chat too, because I don't want to, since I'm just doing a window display stream.
Yeah, sure thing. Sure.
Yeah. So another thing, like I'm trying to think back at first drafts generally. I know TK had first draft that one year, I believe, right? And that's when he picked all of his friends. Was that season, or did he not have first pick that season?
Season 1, no, he didn't have first pick. There was a season where Poxy picked him first.
That's right. I was
That was
thinking,
last
yeah,
season.
I think that's what I was thinking of, because he's always been a high-ranking player. But generally, the first picks, I mean, I don't think there's been any first picks who have like over, you know, shot their expectations really. I mean, the lowest MMR, especially because I believe let me double check, but I believe it's a significant difference between him and Bubbles, and there's a significant difference between Bubbles and the rest of the captains.
He is first pick by a mile.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a hard season for him if he doesn't just go for the strong picks, which sometimes it's hard to do because you also want to make sure that you have good team synergy, which is generally what I went for. You want to make sure you have a good mixture of players who can play a wide variety, but as the lowest player and also as captain, you really need to have that, like, you need to be able to control your team. And if he goes for higher ranked players, there's not so much to say that they're really going to listen to him when making shot calls, So we'll see how that goes.
Honestly, I don't think he's that bad for his medal, so I feel like he can flex a bit.
So that's where you're six.
I think he's pretty good for his medal.
Yeah, he's definitely not, as a terrible player, but we'll see. Especially if he picks newer players who may be higher ranked than him, they may not respect it as much as some.
I don't think that's too big of a deal. There's some like known pretty nice people that are very good. Like I think both Donkey Punch and TK are both very mild mannered. They're also the highest MMR in the whole draft, and worth it.
Yeah, I think TK is definitely going to go one of the first 2 rounds, but we can go more into players once we get through the captains. So now it is on to our esteemed admin, Bubbles. He's been has he played in the league before? I can't remember.
Nope, none of the admins have.
So
season 0. He played on my team.
Yeah, I
would forget about season 0.
Yeah, I do too. Rest in peace, Zelos.
Wait, who's on your team, season 0?
It was me, Molsky, the guy that makes the bot, Will, and what's his face? He never played again. He's the Japanese guy.
A lot of people
only had 5
from season 0 never played again, honestly. But so Bubbles,
he's an omni.
Bubbles is a pretty good player. I know he's playing position 1, which honestly I've seen a lot of position 1 captains not go as well. I know even De Bruyne, at least for one season, switched his position to 4 to better captain, because generally on a 4 and 5 position, it's easier to make shot calls and to have that map control versus a position 1 where you're focusing on farming. So we'll see how that goes. And being a lower MMR, because there's a difference between Red Lego guy and Bubbles, and then Bubbles and all the rest of the captains. All the rest of the captains are pretty similar. Besides the last couple who kind of stand out there. So I think I'm gonna go with a 7 for Bubbles, because I think he has being an admin, he has a good idea of the players, he has a good idea of the team he wants to make. So if he can get some good drafts in and maybe get some unexpected picks, then I think that can be a really good thing for him.
I have a lot of faith in his ability to pick players, at least, because he's going into his 2nd season of LD2L, where everyone's like omega tryhard on the picks, and I think that will rub off on him here. Because I feel like some of the drafts, at least like the last couple seasons of watching, it's just like, what the hell's going on? Like your season where you pick 2 Crusaders and then you managed to last pick 2 Legend or Archon players or whatever it was. It's like, this isn't the right order.
That was awesome. That was pretty good. I think I last picked like Agony and what the
OC,
fuck?
or was it? Or was it Oracle? Oracle, right?
It was
Yeah,
Oracle. Yeah,
Oracle was
Oracle and
good.
Agony. Oracle's an awesome dude.
Wait, you last picked Agony?
I'm pretty sure I last picked Agony. I either
Yeah,
last picked
last.
Agony or
Dead
Oracle.
last.
Wow,
Yeah,
Oracle
so
was.
it was a pretty good steal, and we did pretty good that season until we flopped in the playoffs. But
Yeah, it was close there.
um, yeah, I mean, I think Bubbles. I think being an admin, I mean, obviously, I don't think he's going to abuse his admin powers, but I think having that knowledge of the whole system altogether will give him an advantage of maybe knowing some players that other people don't. So,
Yeah.
all right,
I don't know.
so
I think Bubbles will pick like TK first, and TK hasn't won yet, so I'm going
I
all the
think
way.
TK's due for a good team.
Yeah,
TK
yeah.
is very much due for a good team. So next on to Kyrix, which is our returning champion. Um, kind of, he kind of convincingly won last season. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, it wasn't really close. He was also on De Bruyne's team that won the year before, or the season before, not year. So he's obviously he knows what he's doing. It just depends if he can make it work. So I think I can honestly, out of all these players, I think Kyrix has a high chance of going for the back to back.
Back to back to back.
It was fairly close. Sorry, just to jump back a little bit. I think I didn't watch a lot of the regular season, but I did see the finals and some of the other bits of the playoffs, and it seemed like it was pretty close. At least the finals match was a 2-1, where I'm pretty sure Elusive's team threw the second game after winning the first one. But yeah, he definitely has some
Yeah,
experience.
I think, I mean, I don't know what it is, but something about being on De Bruyne's team seems to produce champions. So
Yeah.
I
Honestly.
mean, De Bruyne won season 0, he won season 1, and Kyrix won season 2. So
Yeah.
it's that's just how it is. I don't I don't know what it is, but Kyrix is the closest thing to De Bruyne we have anymore. So
Yeah. I mean, his picks are good. Like he first picked Yiltsin, I think.
yeah,
Like he does that.
I
He first
remember
picked this
I thought
boy.
his team was gonna crash and burn.
Yeah, me too. I remember we 2-0'd him like
Yeah,
during a scrim. We thought we were so like good, and then I
we
don't know what happened.
lava happened. Rest in peace, lava.
Yeah, rip lava. Never
Um,
forget.
yeah, never forget. But I do forgive. Love you, lava. Oh yeah, that's true. Is Gallo playing this season? Is he able to?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yes.
That's pretty lit. Okay, cool. That's sweet. Shouts out to Gallo. So, all right. So Inno is one of the newcomers. Let me go check what his.
Technically, he played
Season 0.
so
Yeah,
I've been told. I
yeah.
didn't remember him either, to be honest. Was he one of the pre-made stacks?
He
from
might have
season 0?
been.
Does
He
anyone
wasn't
know?
on my team. I know that much. So from his sign up, a lot of experience drafting and shot calling, understanding with new players, safe lane normally, but when he captains, he likes to play aggro mids to better lead the team.
Mm,
So he's another 1-2 captain, which I can't. I'm of the belief that captains should generally play 3 to 5. In this league, doesn't matter as much, probably not. But when you do come up against a captain who's experienced and playing a support role and can shot call well, it might make that a little bit of a difference with your team, especially if you have a team who may need more micromanaging versus a team who is more self-sufficient, things like that. So I'm gonna go with a 7 here, personally. Um, Part of that may be because I don't know him, but
hmm You think you're rating higher or lower?
I think. I mean, I think it's yeah. I think I'm rating it higher just because I don't know him, because I don't want to give him the benefit of a doubt. But we'll see how he does. I think newcomers always have the chance to surprise and to just come in and just dominate. I think Rock was the newcomer captain, was the only newcomer captain last season, if I'm not mistaken. And I know he's from RD2L. And his team was okay. He had a bunch of RD2Lers, and they did okay. But
So I'm always a little concerned. This is in terms of metal, this is probably the highest LD2L season. I think it is the highest
Yeah, there's a
if you
lot of
exclude
high
like
levels.
season
Yeah.
0. So when I see an Archon 1 mid player, when there's all these like known legend mid players like Agony and Donkey Punch and Choco even, that's a little scary to me because losing mid is not a good start to a game.
That's true. Yeah.
And for that, I'm probably gonna rate him pretty low, maybe more like a 4, since I don't
All
really
right.
know much about him.
Yeah. RG.
Uh, I don't know much about him either.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of like an experience. It'll be interesting to see how it blends in with the, because the veterans definitely have their own sense of culture and sense of how things work. So, um, it'll be interesting to see him play, so I can make a few diss tracks about him. Which, by the way, diss tracks are going to be coming. Since I'm not playing, I'm just gonna have to make them against every single uh, captain. So if you're a captain, be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yep. He's
So
up next. Hollywood.
Hollywood, the other newcomer, 3-4-5 position. Let's read what his thing says here. Two-time, he's an RD2L player. Aggressively in good teamwork, and he spams Marana. So that guy gets a 10 for me already. Um, I love Marana spammers. I love aggressive players, and he plays 3-4-5 aggressively, which I also play aggressive supports. Well, I play supports aggressively, I should say. um, so I'm gonna give this guy a 10. I like this guy. He seems pretty cool. I don't know much about RD2L, so I don't know if he was if he was a main part of making the playoffs. But yeah, he's gonna get a 10 from me.
Well, I mean, no one from this league is really going to be a main part of making playoffs too much, but he definitely did well on his team. I'm pretty sure when he started in season 13, he was a Herald, and now he's an Archon. So if nothing else, he's improved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being an aggressive 3-5 player, kind of like what we talked about earlier, is a much better position to be as a captain, at least on the lower side of the ranks for captain,
Mm-hmm.
and lead his team from that position much easier. So I'm a fan, though. I'm still a little concerned maybe he won't know the players as well. Maybe accidentally draft some conflicting personalities or something.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Mhm.
it looks okay.
All right. So back to people we know. Um, so Saris, we all know Saris. Been a main part of one of the main veteran players. Pretty popular, good support, but I guess it also comes how I haven't seen her captain, so
Yes.
I
I mean, she plays 5, right?
yeah, she plays 5, which is a good captain role. I do know. So I guess I think I'd have high hopes for Saris. I'm gonna give an 8.
Yeah. I
I
have
like
super high hopes. I think she can win.
I like Saris a lot. I think she's a great player. I think she can be a good leader. I think um, she needs to draft a team that's not gonna, you know, put her under a lot of pressure because I think she can be a really good leader. So I'm hoping she makes a good draft and gets a good team that's gonna just play well. So
Yeah, I think she has some RD12 sleeper agents that she's met. She hangs out a lot in the PST Sun Discord now, more so than LD2L. So I think she's gonna know what people to pick from RD2L at least, because I know with Rock's team, it was a bunch of RD2Lers that theoretically probably should have done pretty well considering the medals, and they were able to all get together.
mm-hmm.
And I just not sure they had the leadership. I don't have a great impression of like Rock Danny's leadership, but I think maybe Ceres can do well where Rock failed.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also with actually knowing the veteran players here too, she can make a good mix between, players she knows how to, play with well and all that, and players who know the enemies they're facing well. Okay, now on to Chaco. That's a 0, no discussion. Trash. Terrible, terrible captain.
Want to leave?
I've he's a good. I guess the only thing I could say, he's good on Krugs. He's a good mid player. I wanted to draft him last season actually really badly, and uh, Krug took him from me. So yeah, you can go fuck yourself, Krug. Honestly, it's probably late over in England, so or wherever.
He's not watching.
Yeah, he's not watching. But if you watch the VOD by any chance, go fuck yourself. So, all right, Luth.
Wait, that was really for Joker.
If you no, you guys can talk about Choco.
I mean, I don't think he's. I mean, he's got a tough personality. Luckily, he's muted right now, indefinite. But I think he could win. I just don't think people on his team would want him to win. So,
So the thing is gonna be
Jesus.
sabotage.
Choco's pretty good. I think Choco has like above average mechanics for this league and his metal, but he's gonna have to make sure his team works with him as opposed to antagonizing them, and that's gonna be his struggle.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I feel like he makes everyone on his team like more relaxed versus try hard, just because I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
he's a
goofy.
funny dude. That's why I wanted to draft him. I played an in-house with him, thought he was funny, and thought he would fit well. And then literally, I think Krug drafted him the moment before I was going to. So who knows? Could have changed everything. All right, Luth. I'm honestly not too experienced with Luth. He's a pretty
He's insane.
high MMR player, pretty good player. Does that translate to a good captain though? Not always.
Yeah.
Because I mean, being a good captain is a lot about, I mean, when I was a captain, was I the best drafter? No. I usually let people, I had a good discussion about draft. I never really had too much of a game plan going with draft, but I had more of a strategy of, make sure everyone gets along and doesn't freak out when something bad happens, and then try to make the other people do up. But yeah, that's true. We'll see how many times Luth has to pause for dinner this time. So
Dude, that was classic.
uh,
I was getting hungry too after waiting for like 10.
I know. This is the classic dinner break for Luth. Maybe he's a bit older now. Maybe his parents will make him go eat dinner. So
I hope so. I'm actually slightly concerned about it because I first met Luth over a year ago on an LD2L team along with Danny, and even then he like had to miss a few weeks for studying and such. So, and now in LD2L he's also pausing for dinner and such. So if he isn't able to really commit to his team as a captain, maybe a little bit of concern there.
So I'm gonna because of that actually I'm gonna put a 6 because it's a lot of work. A lot of the reasons why my team's messed up were because of scheduling issues. Obviously the season where Lava couldn't play because of scheduling. I had trouble with scheduling because I was working 2 jobs at the time, so which is why I'm not playing in this season. Like making the time for your team and making sure you can be there every week is extremely important to being successful in the league. So
Yeah. I don't know.
Alright.
I think Luke has enough like mechanical skill to win. So I'm probably gonna give him like an 8.
Yeah, he's definitely good as a player for sure, no doubt.
All right, so now on to Cryptic. He's a good player. He's a really good player. I mean, from what I remember from last season, he's a cool dude. I feel like he's got what it takes to be a captain. Does he?
Definitely. He's chill enough for it.
Yeah.
I feel like he won't get too angry. He's not going to get angry if his team is
Which is also very important.
toxic or anything.
Well, but I guess De Bruyne winning 2 seasons doesn't always maybe proves the opposite.
Not a guarantee.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee.
But I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good player. I mean, I don't know too much else about him. I remember playing against him and always, respecting him. So I think I'm gonna have to agree with RG on the 7, just out of what I think. I mean, I feel like he's at least gonna make playoffs, but he could be someone who makes playoffs and fizzles out. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm excited to get into the draft of the players to talk about. So, more about that. But next we have Mitter Chen, someone I do know very well. I personally like to think I taught him everything he knows, because he was Crusader when I drafted him, and now he's legend. So, I mean, make your own, you know, make your own decision from that info. But I taught him everything he knows. I taught him how to play the game. So I'm gonna have to give my boy Mitterchen a 10 out of 10. He's a cool dude. He sometimes can get a little flustered, but he's besides that, I think he has the good knowledge, a good enough knowledge of the players and of the teams to make a pretty decent showing this season.
Yeah,
I do have
he's-
one concern though for him. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think he's a great guy and a great player, but one concern I have for him and as well as Cryptic, if you look through the players right now, there's just a shitload of offlaners. Like I don't know what
That's
happened,
true.
but there's like 20 offlaners.
And that used to be that used to be our lowest position.
Yeah, it used to be the opposite, and it still is in like RD2L. So I think these like mid laners and such can pretty easily just pick a high MMR offlaner and be happy, whereas Mid or Chen has a much smaller pool to look through.
That's a
And
very
so
good point. Yeah.
That's gonna be a little rough.
Yeah. Do you still think he's the best offlaner though in the league?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, I think without a doubt. Okay, so we got
Yeah,
Royce next. What? I'm being honest. I don't know anything about Royce.
His name used to be Dingo Embryo, Dingo Embryo Embryo, or Dingo Dingo Embryo Embryo.
Wasn't?
That was it.
Okay, I do know him. Was he?
He shortened it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I know him. I was gonna draft him actually. So, he was a really good player. Obviously, he's one of the highest MMRs, so that has to sell for something.
Hmm.
But his position is 1, 4, and 5. He's probably gonna. My recommendation to him is play the 4 and 5 and draft a really high level 1.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be a lot happier if you make your team happier versus if you make you happier. So if you can play the 4 and 5, play the 4 and 5. If
I'd narrow that down to just the 4, I think, considering he's so high MMR.
mhm.
I think it'd be a shame to put him on 5. He should show what he has, having
so?
impact from that 4 role.
Yeah, I think a 4 would be probably better. I mean, I agree. I liked playing 4 as captain too, because 4 is fun. 4 you get to run around the map and do shit. So just for I think being high, I'm gonna have to give him an 8. To see. So, and now on to Mouse Hero. I mean, everyone knows Mouse Hero. He's been a captain each season, so that's a lot. That talks a lot. I mean, he's always made it pretty high, but I feel like he still has like a mental block. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the season, he just hits this wall like mentally, and his team always like flusters at the end. And I don't know what it's going to take for him to overcome it, but I really hope he does because I always love watching his team play. He's a fantastic, he's a fantastic player, but that's true. He does tilt sometimes, and I mean it sucks when your captain tilts, but so I think that definitely affects his team. Like when the higher pressure games in the playoffs come on, or when it's a playoff seeding game like later in the season. So I really hope he can get that mental because he's the highest MMR captain right now. He's probably, if not one of the highest MMR players in the season. So
And he's top 5 MMR. And I think of all the captains, he's maybe the best player. Maybe Mitterchen's better, but I think Pause 1, 2 is far more impactful than Pause 3. So
I mean,
I think Young Mouse is the best player, but he's got that mental block that tilt.
And that's why I'm gonna have to give him a 7 because every season I'm always like, oh, this is the season Mouse Hero is gonna do it, and something happens at the end, and he doesn't do it, So there's that. All right. Anything else you guys want to say about the captains before we transition?
Yeah, for Mouse, I think I don't know. Like, if he just drafts PMA guys, I think he's set. Because they almost won, I think, season 1, was it? They got, like, second.
Yeah, he was in the finals.
Yeah,
season?
so I remember Krug was on his team, and Krug would just, like, try to calm him down a bunch. And I think if he does that, then he's unstoppable. I don't think you can beat him.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree. So any captain predictions for who do you think is going to win before pre-draft captain? Who do you think is going to win?
I don't know, it's a tough one.
I'll say most likely to reach grand finals. I think might be Ceres. I don't think I'm bold enough to say who I think is going to win.
I think Mitterchen or Saris are gonna make
Yeah.
grand finals for sure. Mouse Hero is definitely gonna make top 4. I think guaranteed. He always makes top 4, so I'd be very surprised if he didn't make top 4 this season. Kyrix is, I think, all right. Top 4 is going to be Mitterchen, Young Mouse Hero, Saris, and Kyrix. I'm going to say that right now. That's my prediction for top 4, and that's where I'll go.
That's pretty solid. I'd probably swap Kyrix for Luth just because they're both TI winners, LD2L winners, and I don't know. Luth is just personally, I think he's like
But
one of the best on here.
I don't want to underestimate Kyrix. Like, I underestimated him last season and he won. I underestimated his team the season before and they won. I just can't do it this season. I've learned my lessons. So
Yeah, it's true.
all right.
We might get a triple 3-0 win.
So I'm gonna transition to talk more about what we're gonna have once the season gets on more. So we do plan on having like a fail of the week, a play of the week, things like that. We're gonna interview captains before matches for like hyped matches. So if there's a really hyped match going on that week, we're gonna really want you guys to get hyped for it. So we're gonna get them both on, have them talk to each other a little bit, see what they have to say. So hopefully there's some bad mouthing captains here. Cause a little hype instead of just PMA all the time because that's kind of boring. But we're gonna allow if there's anything you guys want to submit for us, we're gonna try to take in some submissions. Especially for things like plays of the week, fails of the week, because I am going to stream some games, but I'm not gonna get all the things in that I can. So, all right.
Yeah, and I'll drop the link to the Godcast server probably after we're done, and you all can join. But
Yeah, and then we'll probably have like just a submission channel that you guys can talk in, and then we'll change roles when needed for guests and things like that. If you guys want to be on the podcast, you can let us know, and we can get something worked out.
Especially if you're captain.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, we'll try to do some player interviews as well, especially like MVP interviews if there's a really good player, or like a thing. So we'll try to get to that. Check how many people are actually still viewing it. All right, so we got decent. So, Chaco made this really funny thing for Scrub, and I would feel bad if we didn't play it. So, if you guys didn't know about Sergeant Scrub, he's an infamous player, sometimes. So, if there's ever any Scrub drama and talking to you, Scrub, then this is going to be the intro for it. This is made by Chaco. So, this is Scrub drama right here. So, yeah. So, and we're actually going to talk about some maybe some Scrub drama. So, what do you guys think? Over under 6 weeks for Scrub.
I think it's gonna last all the way up to 6 weeks.
You're going under?
I don't know. Wait, when are
we doing 8 weeks
playoffs?
again? I think we're doing 8 weeks probably.
I think it's 7 weeks.
Is it
I could
7?
be
All right,
wrong.
then
I think it's
5.
7.
Then we're doing 5. Okay. No, let's do 4. We'll do 4. Over under 4 weeks on Sergeant Scrub.
I'm sure Scrub can make it all the way. I think De Bruyne is honestly just like Scrub, but worse.
Yeah.
I think those two combined was like awful. I think people know him well enough now that he's going to be on a team that can handle him.
Yeah,
I might be overly optimistic.
I think it depends who drafts him. I think out of all the people, if he somehow gets on a team with like Yolk Soup or Elusive or someone who they just really don't like each other, then I think he's gonna last like 4 weeks at the most.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I think, yeah. Luckily, he's played so many in-houses, so that people know what he's like. Otherwise, if you didn't know who he was and you first picked him, like you'd be out week 1, you'd be done.
Yeah, he'd be out before that. So good luck to you, Sergeant Scrub. I'm really rooting for you, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see how it goes. So let's get on to the draft. Obviously, very hyped tomorrow. What time is that going to be tomorrow?
I think it's 5.
It's 5.
5 EST?
I want to say.
All right. So All right, so 5 EST, we got the draft going on, season 3. The draft's always very hype. I love the draft. Being a captain, it was always great. It's always exciting, especially for, it's a lower level league, so some of these guys are probably playing in their first league, and it's exciting to get drafted. It's exciting to see a captain pick you. So, who do you guys think is going to be the first pick?
First pick by Red Lego guy?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know. He said he was gonna pick Venus, but is that the pick? Like Venus is good. I don't know if he's first pick good though.
I love Venus, but
Yeah, dude. He's one of my favorite players.
yeah, I don't know if he's first pick. I agree.
I think who the first pick probably should be is like Donkey Punch or TK.
Yes. TK, yeah, those
I'm
are
not sure he's
definitely
going
my
to.
first two.
Yeah, I
Donkey
think
Punch is like the mid version of TK, and I think mid is better than one right now in terms of impact.
I think TK is always a safe first pick. He's a great player. He's a fantastic guy. He's
Yeah.
always, a good player to have on the team. But it just depends. Like Red Lego guys might go for the Friends draft, which is not my type of strategy. Even though I did first pick Grant one season, and I always pick Grant if I'm a captain. But I think the best first pick. Ooh, that's a. I don't know. I think One Paz may be a good first pick, but he is a support this season, so I guess not. Krug's a good first pick.
Support.
Yeah, Krug might be a good first pick. In terms of team synergy, he's a cool guy to be around. Shouts out my boy Flocka. He could be a good first pick, but TK
I think Rock's pretty solid. Rock's someone I don't think many people know because he went and made the LD2L friend group and didn't meet anyone last season, and then he's only played like the absolute minimum 5 in-houses, I think. I think he's pretty solid, although his personality may be a little more grating than someone like TK, but everyone is, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hates me, so I'm sure I was pretty annoying to him last season. I don't really remember. So I'm gonna so good, like high level picks. Obviously, you kind of want to go by MMR, but I don't know. I think some of the higher level captains can obviously get away with a little lower level, and it could be a strategy to try to get a better pick in the second round. So I think
For sure.
maybe Adifex could be a good pickup in the first round by one of the higher levels. I think Latchet could be a good pickup. Elusive would be a good pickup because he's playing mid. I honestly, I know, like, obviously I always pick him, but Grant is always a good pickup in my eyes. I mean, he's playing under. He's still
Kappa Pride.
Yeah, he's still on
Mid-chat.
some Molly or some powder or something. So, I think, I mean, he's always a really good player. He's been grinding recently, so he's been putting in a lot of practice. He's ready to play. He's hungry. So, he would be a good pickup. I think the higher level people should maybe go for
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 13. There's 13 legends that are not captains. And there's 12 captains. So it is possible that all the Archons make it to round 2.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think they should. I don't
I don't
think
think it'll happen.
Yeah, if I think it's a bad idea to pick by MMR solely. I think you want to me the perfect like team, and the team you're supposed to have maybe one, if you can grab 2 high level, but I think having one like star like impact player on the 1 or the 2, and then having a lower level, if you have like a star mid player and then a lower level, like maybe a high Archon, like 1 player, it can work out better, fine if they work well together versus 2 legends that don't work well together, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can kind of like cluster it. Like
Yeah.
say, hey, these are the top 3 medals, legend. Look at all the legends, or if the high legends are gone, look at the low legends and the high Archons all at the same time. And say, out of this group, like 10, 12 people, who's the best for my team?
Yeah.
But I think it's people need to be careful of not diving too hard and having like a TK team where you're just notably below average in terms of metal and you just can't win games even
Yeah.
when you're PMA and coordinated because the skill just isn't there.
Oh yeah, and I know TK. I think that season he said he was just trying to help like completely, like the newer players, which is always good. But I mean, at the same time, you want to win. You know, I wanted to win very badly. Um, so is there
Yeah.
any legend players that you think may slip under the pick because of personality or just not fitting in well?
Sky. I
Sky,
think Sky's absolutely falling lower.
yeah,
I think he's both toxic and anti-value for his metal.
I agree.
He's consistently lost MMR.
I also think that he may not work well with a captain in general. I think he would maybe, second guess people. He would constantly, think that what he's doing is best because of previous rankings. So I think I agree with Sky. From what I've seen and heard, Agony's a lot more better, so he's definitely a good pickup early on. I think OC might drop down low simply because I don't know if he's as active as like in the community. I guess I like
mean, he's been playing super well.
is he I like I said I haven't for like the past 4 months I haven't been active, so I've missed a lot. But
I think the inactive people are like Trooper Down and Gavprint only appeared like a few days ago. I'm not even sure if he'll make the cut. He might be a stand-in.
and then
But Trooper Down, I know him because he's a friend of Rock's, but I don't think he's been around very much in the Discord like or anything.
and that is if to new players like that is obviously it's a bit too late now if you're listening, but it is important to interact in the community as well, because it's fun, like you're in a tournament, like we all have fun together. Like I've played a lot of games with a lot of different people in here, like not even just Dota, like, and you can make a lot of friends pretty easily. So like to be like a good person and to be an active member of the community and just make fun stuff, like make blogs, make things like that. Like it's always fun. So it's important, like especially if you want to play in later seasons and you want people to know you and pick you, even if you're a lower level. If you can get away with getting picked earlier and getting picked on teams you want, being a lower level by being a positive player and by being a player people like because they want you on their team. So a little bit of advice for some newer players. Is
Yeah.
It's hard to say because I think I wanted. I don't know. I don't think I want. I wonder who the last pick's gonna be. It's probably just gonna be a low level player that no one knows.
Last pick.
Last season it was Hale Satin, but I think she's gonna get picked pretty early.
Yeah, that was such a value pick, honestly.
That was a very value pick.
Overlap was, I don't know.
I think she's
That
gonna.
last pick was scary.
Yeah, Kyric's got a good deal with his team because he just picks super high level, and then even his low level picks were super high value. So
Second to last pick, Chest Rockwell. Shout out to that. Even if he didn't show up, still amazed that it happened.
He's playing this season too. So we'll see if he can actually make the matches.
You think he's going the first round? I mean,
No.
He's been playing recently. He's pretty good at Alchemist, at a couple other heroes.
I don't think
Who? Chest Rockwell? I think people are going to be scared to pick him, honestly, after last season.
Did he play in a single match?
He played a fair amount of the group stage, I think.
Did he? I
I saw it being told.
I thought he missed
I've heard he
lot.
played like 6 matches.
Maybe I was wrong. I thought he
It's
missed
like
a
he
lot.
showed up for the first 3 weeks, then he disappeared, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Another thing, I guess I should have talked about with captains. Is there any predictions for the McTron team this season?
Which bit? Having a Smurf or having an awful captain?
Having an awful captain and also disbanding.
I'd have to say Choco. I mean,
He
you know
leaves the
what
chat.
it would be. I mean,
He unmutes himself. I think newer players always have a bit higher chance of disbanding. Like the newer captains, because they may not choose people who they know are reliable. Uh, I think Luth may have a high chance of disbanding because of the things we are talking about. Like, too much dinner may be the ruin of his team. So,
Yeah. He might. There might be screaming, and he has to eat for like 40 minutes.
yeah, I mean, I kind of do hope there's some McTron stuff going on this season because then we can feature it on here. I love the drama. So, rest in peace, McTron. Well, not in peace. Guy
I
was
think
kind of
there's gonna be any like Skynet drama, like people just flaming.
Oh yeah, I.
Oh, I do hope so. I'm sure we're getting some of that.
Oh yeah.
That's the good stuff. I'm
Yeah,
sure
we'll-
Scrub will give us a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll have a drama hour. We'll have a drama section on here. Hopefully every week. Covering the latest drama, watching the clips and shit. So, what is the most underrated pick that you would recommend to the captains?
I'd have to say, I don't know. I mean, I'd probably say boxes, 2,000 boxes, just because he's advancing so fast. Like, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like Freeze 2.0.
Freeze
I'm a little
was
afraid for boxes, to be honest.
Dude, Freeze was a monster.
I mean, he's played more in-houses than pub games of Dota.
He's
or
also on the
public
bottom of
matches.
that list, though. I know. I feel like some of the player scouts that have been putting him in like top tier, along with like people like GK, is a little scary. I think if he gets picked in like the first 3 rounds, it might be a
Yeah.
mistake,
Yeah, it's all
or first
pressure.
2 at least.
My underrated pick, and I think because he's not as well known as I would like him to be, but I think he's a great player, is Caffeinated Crusader.
Yeah, he's super good.
He's a really good player. His MMR doesn't reflect how good he is, and he's a really funny guy, and I really liked having him on my team. So I'm always
He's another player people kind of know, though, right?
Yeah, but I think he goes underrated sometimes in the draft. I think Adifx 4th or 3rd picked him last season. I'm not sure. So we'll see if he gets underrated, but I know
My super biased underrated pick is In the Pool.
Yeah, that guy's good. I played a couple games with him today.
He's another RD2L player, but I'm actually surprised because in RD2L he just plays like bitch position 6s because he's super low MMR there.
Mhm.
But he's been like owning, I think, in in-houses on 1 and 2, or doing well at least, maybe not owning, considering he's pretty low on the list if you just sort it by MMR.
Let me see who's been doing well in in-houses here. So Donkey Punch is number 1, which is pretty cool. I think you're right about him. He's definitely going to be a top 3 pick. I think 100%. I think it'd be crazy for him not to be.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's probably the best player
Yeah,
unless someone shows up. One of the best for sure, but possibly just the flat out number 1.
Dude, Red Lego guy's number 3 on here, dude. I mean,
It's crazy.
can't be
He's
that
solid.
bad. I don't know. I think he'll climb up on some people. I think people will underestimate him.
I hope Radagast does well. I hope he gets a high pick because he didn't get to shine. I feel like he played really well in his games, but I feel like because he only came in half the season, people didn't get to see as good of a player he is. I don't know how he's been doing in in-houses recently, but me and RG know how much of a god Radagast is. So,
Yeah, honestly, he's like one of my favorite people to play with.
oh yeah, he's a great guy. He's always PMA. So if captains are looking for some good PMA players, check out Radagast. Check out any of my old team members. Honestly, I only draft PMA, so
Yeah, dude, you should scroll to the bottom of the leaderboard. Let's people down there.
who's on the bottom? Chat wants to make a guess who's on the bottom of the leaderboards. Oh,
I already mentioned it at one point.
I know. Oh, but that's just because he's been putting in that work. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's a couple people down there that I don't think deserve to be like OC. I think he's.
Yeah,
pretty
come on, Badmans. What's the math coming into this? I feel like there's some bias going on here from the Badmans.
There's some pretty janky in-houses, to be fair. Especially once we switched to player draft, there's been some where a captain just doesn't know what they're doing or the captains are very differently skilled.
Yeah, no, the one in house I played was not fun. For me, it was my first game of Dota in like 4 months, but um, so it's about 11:06. We've been going at this for a while actually. Filled up a lot of time. Um, I think so. My top 5, I feel like going into the draft for kind of like lower, I would say Grant is one of them, or AKA on Somali or Simpouty or something. It's not his Steam name right now. I actually don't know what his Steam name is right now, but I'll fucking check it out. Let me see. I don't know. I have a lot of Drip or Drown on Steam right now, but so he's good. Flocka, I'm just naming off my old teammates at this point. Flocka, I think Adifex is a really good pickup for a lower level. Not a lower level.
Yeah,
but
we didn't talk about him.
Adifex is awesome.
Like, I think he's round 1, to be honest.
I definitely think he's
If-
round 1, especially
if
for
there
a
weren't so-
legend captain. I think they'll be crazy not to take him.
Yeah,
I
if
mean-
there weren't so many offenders, I think.
Especially
Thank
because
you.
he's good at like a lot of characters, but if he gets like Axe or Zeus, like it's over. It's honestly over. So
I
You
think
have
when
to
you
ban
consider
those
that
heroes.
Cryptic and Chen are both high-level captains, maybe it won't be first round. So I think like Young Mouse and Royce are both going to need mid players. I think Young Mouse and I guess Luth are probably the only high-level captains that could realistically pick him. Oh, and
That's a good
Choco
point.
too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, and we'll see if he's definitely second round, if not first. And if it's a second round, I think he'll be somewhat of a
He's
steal.
a very good second round for sure.
Oh yeah,
I think maybe a little too early for first, but solid second round for sure.
Yeah. I think. I'm trying to think. I'm not trying to pick any. I'm doing like top 5, no legend. It's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Flock
Me-
out of there. SMH.
Yeah. So no Flocka. Sorry, Flocka. Love you, but you're legend. So, I think
Good
Minu
Flocka.
Minu's pretty good. At least he was.
He's the hot new player. He's climbed like 3 badges during in-houses, but he's also a little one-dimensional on the Meepo Huskar TB.
Meepo. I hope we get some Meepo games this season. I want to see that. I think Calf. Calf is underrated pick. Gallo. I hope Gallo goes at least second round. I think he's a great guy. And then I'm gonna go with Dusty. I like
Dude,
Dusty.
Dusty. I haven't even heard his voice in forever.
I know, dude. I miss that man. I'll go with Dusty for an underrated pick as well. So that's my top 5. You guys got anything more to say about the draft?
I mean, I think PVC Pipe is still, he's always going to be a value pick.
Oh yeah,
Like,
He's a
his
good dude.
Witch Doctor is super good.
he's a really good support.
You're ruining Choco's draft plan by talking about him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's another thing. He always goes with meme strats, like super flexible.
Oh, meme strats are the best strats. I'm really mad I can't do my meme scrim strat this season. It's always fun to first pick a support that can also be played as a carry, or just a support, and then you last pick a support, like the actual support, and then you just play with a really bad carry, and it's really fun. And you trick people out.
Yep. I mean, yeah. If we're talking about Yumi again, I'm kind of worried about how his team's going to go. Because he's super good on, like 4 or 5 heroes, but I don't know. They don't always work out.
What's your thoughts on support players? I feel like we've talked quite a bit about the cores. Who do you think are the top
Ooh.
supports?
Top supports. Ooh. One Pez. For sure. PVC is a good support. I mean, Saris is a captain, but Saris is always a good support.
I think DVD is super good.
Yeah.
DVD is solid for sure. Pocket's pretty good. I think Scrub is very good, all memes aside.
Scrub is a good forward for
Definitely
sure.
not talked into this.
Yeah.
I think his playstyle works pretty well. I know I mentioned this in the little blog thing I wrote, but I think being a higher level support that's super greedy is quite nice because you can have the same impact that cores the same rank will have. Whereas the more super sacrificial supports like Ceres can have a harder time carrying games.
and me. I
Yeah.
but
So you're lower MMRs, you can kind of get away with it. I think you're more
yeah.
likely to have, if you were to captain, you're more likely to have good players on your team
Oh yeah. Always
that
surround
you can
myself with the
enable.
best. Like RG God.
Dude, I'm the best player still since season 1.
Oh yeah. You're the best player in season 3. That's why they grade you out. You're too good. It's not because you can't play. There's really,
Yeah.
I mean, there's really like, I mean, it's pretty typical. Like, I think is Saris the highest level support in the league still?
Recounting Yoksup. I think he's core this season though.
Is he? Yeah, I don't. I think he is.
Yoksup's not signed up, he couldn't play.
Oh, okay.
So I
Well
think
then, yeah.
Trisoft is. Oh, Trisoft is.
Yeah, Trisoft is solid. Except
he's
his
really
metal
good.
is so high, like he's too good.
Mhm. So we don't really. I really want like a extremely like good 5 player to join the league. Like, of course, I'm great
There's
5 player.
Royce.
Oh, is he?
Royce is pretty damn good. He's a
Yeah.
5 player.
Yeah, that's true. I just want like some, like we have like generally like the best like support plays we get are like from Visage players. This is hype, but I don't know. I want some. I'm excited for some PVC Piper Spirit. That's what I'm looking forward to. So
You heard about Bo? I think Bo's it's alright.
Bo's pretty good. I haven't played much with him because he always flames me. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like Bo might not give the cheerleading that a lot of 5s give, that
That's
mental
true.
reinforcement.
no, Bo.
He can sometimes. He can be very wholesome sometimes, but other times he gets a little cranky.
Oh yeah, he's gonna let you know what he thinks.
Yeah, I had to mute him. I had him muted today when I played with him, but like I had to unmute him eventually. I mean, I don't even remember why I muted him, but I think he's good. He's just like everybody knows his like tree is super good. I just don't think people know of his other heroes and whether they're good or not.
I think he just likes playing tree. So like when he can, he just plays tree. So why should he play anything else? You know, just like me and Blink Bristleback. Why should I play anything else?
Truth. Big fan of Blink Bristleback, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I love it too. It's the most fun build in the game to me. It's just for the moment when they first realize you have a Blink Dagger. That's it.
Like
If
mentally,
you ever start a tangent a little bit, but NA pro teams are actually doing that for a while. They get Bissell Blink Ags on Bristleback as safe laner.
I was I started doing it in like 2012, like when I first started playing Dota because I thought it was really fun, and then I saw sometimes people were actually doing it, and I was like, hey, that's my build, bitch. I'm the only one who's allowed to do it, so I patented it.
yep.
All right. Let's talk about support. So I think I don't know. I mean it's easy to say that the legends are going to be the good first pick, but I think I mean first rounders at what. So I think we agree Sky probably won't go first round.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't want to say it, but I think either OC or Flocka might not go first
I was
round.
just gonna say that. I
Just-
don't want to say it either. I don't think it's because they're bad players. I think it's just because people don't always want to first pick a 3, especially if we,
Yeah.
you know, the higher levels are
That's
already
exactly
3.
it.
So
Yeah, I think they're going to fall for that exact reason. I
Yeah.
think they're more than capable players. They just aren't wanted.
yeah, and I think they're gonna be great pickups in the second round, and probably gonna go in the early rounds in the second round. But I just don't think they're gonna
Yeah.
be the first pick.
I mean, honestly, if I had to choose one to first pick, I'd probably pick Flocka.
Oh yeah,
Just because of experience and I don't know.
I love Flocka.
I like his hero pool too.
Oh
But
yeah,
I don't know. There's so many captains that are 3s, and I don't know.
That's the LM guy too. I don't know if any of you know him, but he's Legend 2, Pause 3 player. And I'm under the impression he's kind of unknown unless it's someone that changed their name.
Yeah, that's another problem. People change their names. I don't
So
know
he's
if there's
someone
any.
else that could potentially fall.
Mhm.
I didn't know this guy was Legend 2, actually. Yeah, he might be good.
So
I just don't know him.
who's this soup guy?
Shoop? He's been in a few in-houses. I think he's one of the people that hasn't won one yet.
He has 6,000 plus games. He's only like Crusader. Interesting.
Wait, do you see this guy at the bottom?
I'll have to keep my eye on
This
that
guy, Gav Print.
Yeah.
Gavprint? I said Shoop. Gavprint showed up pretty recently, I think.
He might
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah, that's true. Just because nobody knows who he is. He's a mid player.
I don't think
Legend
it's gonna
1.
be any case like how I got in season 1, where I got 2 really high ranked players because no one knew them. But I think, I don't know. I mean, it is tough to be a new player in this. It really is, especially if you don't play a lot of in-houses, because people like what they know. You know, like you can take a risk. I'd rather get someone who's Archon and I know plays well and I know I like to play with than a legend who I have no idea what they do. So
He has played a few in-houses, though. And I talked to him for a couple minutes because he had questions about the league, and he seemed pretty nice. So it's possible he ran into one of the captains. Because he won, like, most of his in-houses, too.
Yeah.
And that's always a good impression.
this is TK's
How about
graduation season, so I really hope he gets on a good team this year. This is TK's year.
For once.
Yeah, this is TK's year. He's making it to playoffs at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did he? I don't even think he made it playoffs for season 0.
No, I think they disbanded.
Didn't they, like, disband and then he hopped on? Because he was on the Lava team that, like, couldn't play games. Then he hopped onto the
No,
Broom team as a stand-in, right?
Oh wait, which
Oh, was
season?
he? I know McTron's was a stand-in on De Bruyn's team, and it really annoyed me.
Broom's team had, like, 4 stand-ins. I think the Broom was the only original member of his team.
De Bruyn's team
Season
had
0
like
was a mess.
Dude, De Bruyn's team had like all like high ranked players. Like they were all like high Archon
Frankenstein
legend.
team.
Like it was like Krug was on that team.
Yeah.
That was a fucking mess. Like we couldn't, like, it was 2-1 in the finals, but like it was a stomp like when they won. So it was messy. But I had a good time. It was a good introduction season. So yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of ending the time that we don't want to go too long, especially for this draft. Hopefully we'll have a lot to say for the next season. Is there any closing comments you guys got?
Good luck to you guys with your podcast. Very exciting to see this kind of content in LD2L. Very
Thanks.
privileged to be on the first episode.
Yeah, thanks for giving your insight. I always enjoy some Clare thoughts on the players. So I remember draft tomorrow at 5. I'm really excited to see what the captains have in store for this season. I'm really excited for this season. It's my first season as a spectator, so I can focus purely on content, which I love doing. So I'm going to create tons of blogs, tons of diss tracks, maybe even some compilation videos if I get the time to. So I'm really excited. We'll have a more plan. We'll invite some people to the Discord. We can get some people on, plans for who's going to be on next episode, what we're going to do. And I'm just really excited for this season. I'm really excited for what we're going to be doing here. And I just can't wait to see what happens. So, RG,
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully my router doesn't break down again.
I know. I had a little, sorry for the impromptu switch over here, but I think it worked out pretty well. I hope you guys had a somewhat interesting time listening. Hope we didn't bore you too much, but thank you guys for tuning in. Hope we had some cool information for you. Hope we changed some of your minds about some stuff. Hope we didn't piss too many of you guys off, because we're definitely planning on saving that for later, because we're going to piss a lot of you guys off. So thanks for tuning in. Good luck on the draft tomorrow, captains, and I hope you guys have a great night. So thanks everyone for coming in. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.